the highest priority now, given that we are still in the middle of a public health crisis, is to make sure that people have stable housing. It's been clear from the get-go that that is a key prevention tool to stopping the spread of the virus. So many people are hoping that Congress will expand emergency rental assistance programs in the near term. That could come in many different forms and actually should probably be a multifaceted approach. We don't want to rely on one single government program to expand emergency rental assistance for fear that it could overburden housing providers who aren't used to, frankly, receiving that much money in any given year. Each month that rent becomes due at the first, we have an increasing concern that more people won't be able to pay their rent. So I think in the near term, the top priority for most policymakers is to find some way to provide emergency rent assistance. So for some families, that might mean one single check to pay their back rent and become current on their rent. For other families who have potentially longer lasting income losses or job losses, that might mean unemployment benefits. It could mean a housing voucher that helps to pay the difference between what they can afford and what the cost of an apartment actually is. But there are a number of potential ways that we could get income supports to the lowest income families to make sure that the worst possible outcome, which is that they end up being evicted, is prevented. So near term, that's the big priority, is find whatever programs we can to make sure the lowest income people are protected. It's really important in this scenario that we help to transition people where we can from unsheltered homelessness, so living on the street, or sheltered homelessness, living between families or entering the shelter system, are transitioned into places where they can socially distance. So in some places you've seen people use hotels that have been under capacity because travel has slowed. But whatever creative ways there are, that's still a really important priority because the disease can spread much more quickly through homeless populations. Longer term, I think coming into the crisis, we had a really staggering affordable housing crisis. You had more than 11 million Americans paying more than half of their income on rent. And that was before unemployment skyrocketed. I think investing more in building the supply of affordable housing up is really critical. I think over the summer, you've also seen now protests around racial justice, which will bring a whole new light to the disparities that have long existed in housing in the United States. For every sort of $100 of wealth that a white family has, Black families in the United States have $5. Much of that disparity is driven by differences in home ownership. White home ownership far exceeds Black home ownership. This has a lot of reasons, but chief among them moving forward, we really need to solve for this disparity, or we'll never be able to fully address the racial wealth gap.